Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Comic Book Cove. I'm Tom Morris.
And I'm Josh Holderbaum.
Josh, we're back after a week hiatus, and we have some really good comic books to discuss this week.
Yeah. A lot of storylines being continued, and one pretty big secret finally revealed.
Exactly. Whew. Comic Book Cove number 32. Fights, Friends, Family, and Candy. Why is that? There's a lot of fights this week, a lot of friends coming to terms with each other. Of course, it's always about family, and definitely there's going to be candy. Hey, I'm just saying what's in there. You can add something else. There was candy. A lot of sugary treats. And
yes, indeed.
The epic reveal this week. This episode of Comic Book Cove, we are going to discuss the following titles. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, number 16. Earth 2 Society, number 22. Wonder Woman, number 18. Red Hood and the Outlaws, number 8. Detective Comics, number 952. Superwoman, number 8. And Action Comics, number 975. And as always, spoilers ahead. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, number 16. Quest for Hope, Part 3, High Noon. It's been a bit since we talked about Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. Some of what's happened in these past issues is Hal has gone looking for hope. The Green Lantern Corps and the Sinestro Corps, after the defeat of Sinestro, kind of working together. I guess what's left of the Sinestro Corps that are not loyal to Sinestro, that's loyal to his daughter, they're teaming up with the Green Lantern Corps to find the rogue yellow lanterns. And Guy Gardner is kind of went on the deep end.
Yeah, Guy Gardner makes some kind of strange decisions throughout DC Comics. And now, as they're rounding up these rogue yellow lanterns, he decides he's going to go after Arkillo, who's the big, scary yellow lantern nobody wants to take out. And Guy does it without his ring.
Yes. If you want to take a fist fight, Guy Gardner is always going to look for the biggest and baddest, and this was Sinestro Corps, the Sinestro Corps enforcer, and he even went toe-to-toe with Mongol at one time. Not Mongol. And I couldn't picture Guy Gardner wanting to fight that guy. I couldn't picture anyone wanting to fight that guy.
Well, and Guy Gardner is the kind of guy who doesn't step down from a fight.
No.
I mean, this is the guy who got into a fist fight with Batman.
Right.
I mean, he went down in one punch, but I mean, he still did it. Well, there's no safe zone for Guy Gardner.
No, and he did it on his own terms. Like you said, without the ring, he channels his inner willpower. That's why he's so bullheaded. That was a great fight, but it was very bloody. When John Stewart is looking for Hal, he was looking for Hal. Hal found him. He also came back with Saint Walker, Kyle Rayner, Ganthian, and what is the other side? Sade.
Yep.
It looks like they're trying to rebuild the whole spectrum.
Yeah, kind of get maybe all the spectrums on the same page, which you would think would be kind of difficult because you would seem a lot of those would be really diametrically opposed. But, I mean, you've already got the Green Lanterns and the Yellow Lanterns working together.
Right.
And they're opposites. So, I mean, Saint Walker is a good guy. It begs the question, what others will they bring in?
Yes.
I mean, the Indigo Tribe's out there. The Star Sapphires are out there. Would they reach out to Atrocitus and the Red Lanterns? Would they reach out to Larfleeze?
I don't think there's anyone reaching out to Larfleeze.
Yeah.
I want to touch upon what's happening with the team up with the Sinestro Corps and the Green Lantern Corps. They're telling them if you, the other rogue Sinestro Corps, if you don't want to team with us, we're going to give you an option. But the option doesn't seem, I don't know, it just doesn't, something about it doesn't seem right in terms of the one-sidedness. It's either that or the science cells. Something about it just doesn't seem, almost like martial law.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, bear in mind, too, the Sinestro Corps is basically a corps that has a lot of serial killers, of conquerors, of just really bad folks. And, when Soren Natu says, hey, there are like-minded Yellow Lanterns like me, meaning not evil Yellow Lanterns, I'm sitting there scratching my head like, huh?
Right.
Like what? The guys who want to rule through fear, there are good ones of them. Like,
Yeah.
Maybe an anti-hero at best, but yeah. So, yeah, it's interesting seeing the Green Lanterns more into a more police role.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll see if that backfires on them.
Let's talk about the fight, because that's the biggest takeaway of this issue. Guy Gardner really channeled his past. His father was an abusive drunk and used to get beat on all the time by his father. That's why Acrillo was, he stood toe to toe with him. He said, no one has ever punched me harder than my father. That's why I was able to stand up. He finally got Acrillo to yield after he pulls his eye out. But it looks like he's worse off for it.
Yeah, he looks very dead.
Yeah.
And this is a fight where he takes a big beating.
Yes.
This is a huge.
It could be a fatal beating.
Yeah, because it does say, the teaser for the next issue is like in the arms of death or something. So yeah, it doesn't look good for Guy.
No, because John Stewart came with I forget.
Sornek, not too.
Sornek.
Yeah.
And saying he's going to need a doctor. Either way, we're going to need a doctor.
Yep.
Yeah, they're going to need doctors after this. I don't know if he's going to survive.
Yeah. I kind of suspect he'll pull through. I mean, he's Guy Gardner. He's so lovable, and I couldn't help but love the fact that he had a Warrior T-shirt.
Yes.
Which is his old identity as the Warrior. He has the big W on his street clothes. Like, yes.
What do you think they have planned for, I guess I want to say St. Walker, because Kilowog said now the blue guy's got something planned for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Him and Kyle, something's up with them.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Ganthet and Sade used to be, they were kind of the originators of the Blue Lantern Corps.
Yes.
And now they've got St. Walker back in the fold. There's still a few other Blue Lanterns out there. Last I knew, there was Worf, the big elephant-looking one. So, we'll see what they have planned for them.
Yes.
And I mean, if Guy is going to be kind of on his deathbed, makes me wonder, is Necron going to make an appearance? Because he might want to go claim a Green Lantern if he's gonna be close to death.
We'll see.
That would be kind of cool. We'll
Didn't
see.
Think about that.
We'll see if Guy can cheat that.
He
already survived a fight for Killo.
Yes. Green Lantern. What can we say? It's one of the longest titles in the DC Universe Rebirth, and Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps. But I also say one of the best. Mm-hmm. And in future issues, we're going to see, will Hal survive? Will we see more of the Lanterns of Hope? Where does Kyle Rayner fit in? And how is Hal Jordan going to come back to the Corps now that it's led by John Stewart? Mm-hmm. These are issues and questions we'll see in the weeks ahead with Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. Earth 2 Society number 22, Life After Death. Very rarely do we get happy endings, definitive endings in comic books. Mm-hmm. I felt when we started reviewing this, I just reviewed it just because I thought it was something cool, something different. Mm-hmm. If they had never brought back these characters, I would be content with that. By just the way they ended the story arc, the Earth 2 Wonders, which they call themselves, are in a pretty good place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a nice place where DC could stop if they want to. I hope they don't.
Right.
Because I do like where they're at. I mean, this is a nice point because we have a few characters taking on new roles. Mm-hmm. We have, just like you said, we have the Wonders, which is kind of like their Justice League or kind of their Justice Society almost. And it's a nice title to read. It's a nice finish. This story arc, basically, the Earth 2 heroes end up going to another planet. Mm-hmm. They end up essentially recreating Earth.
Yes.
And then the Ultra Humanite makes an appearance. He tries to, as they're trying to recreate the planet, recreate it in his own image. Mm-hmm. I still never figured out what that means for villains to do, but he wants to make one that he controls. Of course, he does sort of end up getting his own version of Earth, where he's in control of it. He has a few of the heroes mind controlled, like
Yes.
Sandman, Green Lantern, sort of his secret weapon that he'll send out, you know, if he finds any opposition. And all the other heroes realize that when they're there are no other superheroes.
Yep.
These people don't know what superheroes are. So when they see someone with super strength or picking up a car or something, they freak out. So they're kind of the outsiders in this world. And of course, they end up taking the Ultrahumanite down, establishing themselves as the Wonders, establishing to the people, hey, we're not scary and we're not evil. So it's a nice conclusion to that.
Right. It
that
really
story
felt
arc.
they had assimilated into society. We saw modern takes on classic heroes. Superman, was it Zor-El? We
Val-Zod.
saw Val-Zod. Yeah. Apologize for my tumbling of words. We saw Red Tornado Lois Lane. We saw Alan Scott as the avatar of the Green Lantern.
Which is normally Swamp Thing's role.
Yes.
And that's what they did with New 52, Alan Scott, was make him...
Yes, we saw, I don't want to spoil who everyone was, because to be honest with you, if you get a chance to read the series, it is excellent. We just jumped on during the DC Rebirth, was, hey, let's kind of see what's going on, because we were fans of Earth 2 being, you talked about it off camera, we talked about the World War II iterations of the heroes. These are modernized, modern. I think you would call what we have right now our contemporary. These are the modern. And these characters, when they all clicked, it was really good. I was reading and saying, okay, I can see this. I want to see where this goes. I want to see where these characters, how they take it. This is a way to do, if you want to branch away from, all right, we have our contemporary, but we want to put them in a more modern setting, make modern versions, but leave the contemporary. It's what Marvel did with the Ultimate Universe. When they had Miles Morales, they had modernized iterations of the characters, and then they still had the contemporary heroes. I really liked the way DC did this in these last few issues. I thought was really good. And the ending, I hope they come back to these characters, but if they don't, it wrapped up nicely. And we don't get that very often in comic books.
Yeah. When they first started the New 52, I was a little annoyed when they announced that characters like Alan Scott and Jay Garrick were going to be back on Earth 2.
Yes.
Again, I mean, I liked that concept of having kind of the veteran superhero team in the Justice Society, but getting into this, these are nice modern incarnations of these characters. You know, they're not explicitly tied to World War II.
Right.
You know, that was always kind of my problem point with the Justice Society in the old comics was, you know, hey, Alan Scott was in World War II, and he's still somehow hanging out with the Justice Society in the 2000s.
Yes.
Like, okay, you know, you can only be de-aged and re-aged so many times. And and this ends up working really well. It makes them their own cohesive universe, and I'm not, you know, I still would like to see that crossover with, you know, Prime Earth and Earth 2 at some point. But it's still really cool.
It is. And we can still get our World War II iterations of heroes. This is the multiverse. I believe they haven't cataloged all the Earths. There's still a few out there that are mysterious. We can still have that. So we can have our classic, contemporary, and modernized, and the big sandbox, everyone can play. We hopefully we see them. There's plans for it, but if not, great ending to the story. We've only read 4 issues of this, but I liked what I read. So here's to you wrap this up nicely. Maybe the next team will get to handle it and play in the playground and do these characters justice by what they've gone through. A lot of times our favorite shows get canceled. Our video games don't end the way we want to. And our movies, we don't know if they got the ending that we all wanted. This was an ending I thought was, wow, this really fit. So if one recommendation, read it and read those last issues and enjoy it. Or if I'm way off base, let me know on the Facebook site, because I might be just reading something and they say, hey, this isn't the essence of what we think Earth 2 is.
Yep.
We're going to take our first break. And when we come back, we're going to have Wonder Woman, Red Hood and the Outlaws, and some Lady Shiva. Ooh.
Yeah.
We'll be back right after this break.